بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. All praise and thanks belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon His servant and final messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. As for what follows, my dear respected brothers and sisters and youngsters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You're going to have to forgive me. I don't have any cool light effects or sound effects. But inshallah, what I want to do is explain to us and to inform us of the prophets that we have chosen today. You know, it's no surprise that everywhere you go, everyone's in a festive feeling. Everyone's in a holiday feeling. Everybody's celebrating. Everybody's in that joyous mood. And it's almost impossible for you not to come across it. You go to the stores, you're hearing Christmas music. You go out, you're hearing Christmas music, you're hearing on the TV or seeing advertisement. Shibran bi shibran, inch by inch, wa dhira'an bi dhira'an, arm length by arm length. Until they go into the hole of a lizard, you will follow them. So the Prophet or the companions of the Messenger ﷺ, they asked him, who are you speaking about? Do you mean the Jews and the Christians? Prophet ﷺ, he said, Faman, who else? So the Prophet ﷺ, he told us and he foretold that there will be Muslims from his ummah who follow every single step that the Jews and the Christians they do. So it's important for us as Muslims to know what is correct and what is incorrect. And you know, some might say we want to follow them because just to fit in. Right? We don't want to be different. We don't want to stand out like a sore thumb. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us in the Quran that the Jews and the Christians, they will never be pleased with you until you follow their religion. And so this is why it is a very important topic that we know who we are speaking about or who they are celebrating. And so around this time of the year, you'll hear the names Jesus, you hear the name Mary. And so in the time that we have, we just want to speak, who are these people in the Islamic tradition? So the question is, who is Jesus Christ? But before we speak about Jesus Christ, you have to speak about someone very, very important. Someone related to Jesus Christ. Does anyone know who that is? Aziz? His mom. What is her name? Maryam alayhi salam. Now Maryam alayhi salam is a very, very important character in the Quran. If you look at the entire Quran, there is no other woman named except for her. Maryam is the only woman that is mentioned by name in the Quran. Now you ask yourself, well, why is that? What's the significance of that? When you see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He describes Maryam alayhi salam, He uses words of devotion and worship and obedience. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that وَكَانَتْ مِنَ الْقَانِتِينَ, that she was from the obedient, she was from those who used to worship Allah very, very devoutly. But the story of Maryam begins with her mother, the wife of Imran in the Quran. And she makes a dua to Allah. She says, oh Allah, give me a child. If you give me a child, I will make sure that this child is in your service. I will give this child to you as a service. Now back then, when you give a child for service, the child would stay in the masjid. The child would stay in the masjid, help out in the masjid, learn the scripture. And so when she gives birth to a girl, Maryam alayhi salam is given to one of the worshippers in the masjid. This masjid is called Baytul Maqdis. Is that familiar for anybody? Baytul Maqdis. Who can tell me what Baytul Maqdis is? Yes, Baytul Maqdis. That's what the masjid is called. It's in Palestine. It's got a yellow dome. Yes. Masjid al-Aqsa. So this was the place that Maryam alayhi salam was raised up. She had a little separate room to herself, and she would pray. And she would worship Allah day in and day out. And she was in the care of somebody. They put her into the care of somebody. Does anyone know who it is? Yes? Zakaria alayhi salam. And so she grew up as someone who worshipped Allah day in and day out. Whenever Zakaria would go in, he would see that she would get, winter fruits in the summer and summer fruits in the winter. And he would ask her, Maryam, where are you getting all of this? She would say, this is from Allah. Inna Allah yarzuqu man yasha'u bighayri hisab. That's Allah, He gives to whomever He wills without any measure. And so that's Maryam alayhi salam, someone who was a devout worshipper. Now, if someone's a devout worshipper, she stays in the masjid the entire time, is she going to get married? Most likely not. She's in the masjid the entire time, there's no way that she can get married. And so Allah records the encounter of how Maryam alayhi salam conceives of Isa, of Jesus. One day she's praying, and she finishes prayer, and she looks up. And all of a sudden there's a man walking towards her. Now this man, don't know who he is. So she says, Inni a'udhu bir-Rahman. That's, I seek refuge from Allah, from you. And you should fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The man says, whoa. He says, I'm just a messenger, I'm a Rasul. Many of the scholars say this was Jibreel alayhi salam, who came in the form of a man. I'm just a Rasul. I want to inform you of a boy that you're going to have. She says, قالت أَنَّا يَكُونَ لِي غُلَامًا وَلَمْ يَمْسَسْنِي بَشَرًا وَلَمْ أَكُ بَغِيًّا. She says, how can I have a child? No man has ever touched me, and I have kept my chastity intact. What's very interesting is many of the scholars here, they take two opinions. They say one meaning that she's never been with a man, and the other one says that literally no other man has touched her. So she's wondering, how is that going to happen? Jibreel alayhi salam, he says, كَذَلِكَ قَالَ رَبُّكِ هُوَ عَلَيَّ حَيٍّ. This is easy for Allah. Allah can do whatever He wants. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He breathes a soul into Maryam alayhi salam. Now, there's four things. There's someone who was born with a father, and with a mother. There's someone who's born with a father without a mother. There's someone who's born with a mother but no father. And there's someone who's born with no father and no mother. Now you guys are going to tell me those four people, okay? Number one, who is born with a mother and a father?
Muhammad.
No.
Who? A mother and a father. Who is born? Everybody. Okay? Now there's going to be three very interesting deviations in history. Someone was born with no mother, but with a father. Yes? No, not Muhammad. Yes? No. An orphan is born with a mother and a father. Okay, Hawa. From the loins of Adam, but no mother. Okay? Next one. Someone was born with no father and no mother. Is there a hand up back there? Yes. Adam alayhi salam. And then the last one that we're going to take here, someone was born with a mother, but with no father. Yes, young one. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. Yes, Muhammad. Who is it? You don't know?
Ibrahim.
Not Ibrahim. Yes. Not Muhammad. Yes. Isa alayhi salam. So those are the 4 different types that we have. And so Isa alayhi salam is born to Maryam alayhi salam as a virgin birth, meaning that there was no father involved. So this is a miracle that us as Muslims that we believe. And so Maryam alayhi salam, she now has a newborn baby. They know that she's been in the masjid the entire time. So the people, they accuse her. They say, oh, this woman, you've been doing this and that, and they slander her in the worst way possible. So that's one way. The other side is, people, they see this and they say, this could not have happened except that these people are divine. And so what did they do? They begin to worship them. So you have these 2 extremes. You have, on one side, those who slander and curse. Those are the Jews. Then you have on the other side, those who worship and pray to. Those are who? The Christians. Now, the Muslims, what are their stance on them? Number one, we don't say that they're divine. We don't worship them. And we also don't degrade them, insult them. So we're right in the middle.
Do you see them as messengers?
Yes, Isa alayhi salam was a noble messenger. So this is the story of the birth of Isa alayhi salam. Now when we come to the miracles of Isa alayhi salam, because he did have miracles, right? We took in the story, that's number one. He was able to bring life back from the dead. With whose permission? Allah. That's number one. Number two, Isa alayhi salam, he used to heal those who were blind and those who had leprosy. He used to heal them. And number three, he used to mold clay as a bird, and then he would blow into the bird, and the bird would be given life. And the last one that's not many people know. You want to take a guess at it? Yes? No. Yes? No, we've already mentioned that. We said revive people. There's one more miracle. Not many people know that this happened to Isa. This is very specific to Isa. Yes?
Is it the one when the table came from the...
No, that's the Ma'idah. Yes?
Is it when he was thrown?
No. Yes? Not walk on water. We'll take one more. Yes, correct. Isa alayhi salam spoke as a baby. Now imagine this. You have a single mother coming with a baby, coming to the people and saying that this was a virgin birth. I did not be with anybody. Now are the people going to believe her? Of course not. So this miracle makes sense. What did she do? She points at Isa alayhi salam as a baby. And the people, they look at her and they say, this is a baby. What is a baby going to do? And do you know what the first words that come out of Isa alayhi salam? Yeah? No. Allah says that the first words that come out of Isa alayhi salam, قَالَ إِنِّي عَبْدُ اللَّهِ, I am a slave of Allah. This is very significant. Because those who after him, they took him as a god, he basically, rejects that. So Isa alayhi salam, he speaks as a baby. That's the last miracle. Now, the question is, for you guys, why was the miracle of Isa alayhi salam, healing and bringing people from the dead? Why this sort of miracle? Because it's very interesting. Every prophet has his own miracle. Musa, what did he have? Split the sea. Isa alayhi salam, he heals. So why healing? I'll answer that for you. It's because each prophet has a miracle that is specific for his time. So at the time of Musa alayhi salam, the biggest thing was magic. If you were a magician, you were, living with the kings, the magicians of Fir'aun. And so what did Musa bring? He brought something that they thought looked like magic, but it was something that was beyond that. And so it amazed people. At the time of Isa alayhi salam, it was medicine and healing and keeping people alive. This was a thing that was big at the time. So what does Isa alayhi salam do? He brings people back from the dead. He heals those that were blind. At the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the biggest thing was Arabic. The Arabic language, the Arabs were at the top end of poetry. And so what miracle did Allah give the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? That is correct. Because the Arabs were at the top of the Arabic language, Allah brings a Quran like it. وَإِن كُنْتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّمَّا نَزَّلْنَا عَلَىٰ عَبْدِنَا فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ. If you doubt what we gave to our messenger, to our slave, then just bring a surah like it. And for 1400 years, no one has been able to match the eloquency of the Quran. Coming back to our story. Now we've understood the miracles. And now the last part is the death of Isa alayhi salam. Or so they say. So one of the things that's very interesting is if you read the history of Bani Israel, they were known to do one thing. Allah would send them a messenger or a prophet. They would know it was the truth, and then they would kill him. Allah would send another messenger. They would know it was the truth. They would kill him. Allah would send another one. They would kill him. So was it any different for Prophet Isa alayhi salam? No. They were going to kill him. Why? Because this was Bani Israel. These were the people of Israel. And so they planned to kill Isa alayhi salam. And the historians, they mention that Isa alayhi salam, he lived like 30 years. And in that time he's preaching, da'wah, calling people. And only a few people, they follow him until they decided, we're going to kill this man. And so there's a bounty on his head. Now, Isa alayhi salam, he has companions. One day he goes to them, and at the end of his life, he goes to them and he says, I'm about to die. And he says, but he gets revelation from Allah. Who is going to sacrifice their life for the paradise? So Isa, he already knows he's not going to die. But they need someone to die on that cross. And so that's why if you look at the history books, it says somebody dies on a cross. But Isa alayhi salam, he picks someone from his companions. He says, who's going to sacrifice their life? There's a very young boy in the crowd. He says, I will. Isa alayhi salam says, sit down, take a seat, please. Let the older ones, just let them have a conversation. He asks again, who is going to sacrifice their life for paradise? The young man, he says, I will. Isa alayhi salam, sit. The older ones are talking. He asks one more time, who is going to sacrifice their life for paradise? Silence. I will. Yes. Oh, Isa, I will. So this young man, Isa alayhi salam, he picks him. And so Allah made this young boy look like Isa alayhi salam. And as that is happening, Isa alayhi salam is raised up to the heavens. And so when the people, when they come to kill Isa, who did they find? The young boy. they take him, they put him on the cross, and history says that somebody dies on a cross named Jesus. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He raises Jesus, and He tells us what really happened. He says that وَقَوْلِهِمْ إِنَّا قَتَلْنَا الْمَسِيحَ عِيسَى بْنَ مَرْيَمَ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ. That indeed they proclaimed, they said out loud, we have Isa on the cross, he has died. But Allah says, He did not kill him, He did not crucify him, but we made someone resemble him so that you think that you've killed him. And then they differed amongst each other. And then they only followed speculation. That is why you will find that not every single Christian agrees on what is Jesus. Why? Because it is all speculation. Did he die? Did he really not die? No, he died for 3 days and he was raised up. Why? Because it's all speculation. But we know what really happened. Isa alayhi salam was saved, and someone who looks like Isa was placed on the cross. And so you might ask yourself, well then, those who were with Isa alayhi salam, they knew about this, right? They could have just said, Isa didn't die. But it's very interesting. Ibn Kathir, who is a scholar of Islam, he narrates that from the companions of Isa alayhi salam, they split into 3 groups. One group said that Isa alayhi salam, he was a mother of, at least a bad word. And so they degraded him. The other group said, hold on a second. We just saw a man go through the roof of this house, get raised to the heavens. Must be God. And so this group begins to worship Isa. The last group, the Muslims, they're the weakest of the 3 groups. And so they're persecuted and killed, and almost all of them are dead. And so that is why you'll find that just before the Prophet ﷺ is sent, who is right after Isa alayhi salam, they say by 500 years, almost everybody is off Islam. Almost everybody is off Tawheed. And so there's no more Muslims on the earth. Why? Because they've all been killed. And Isa has been raised up until a time before the Day of Judgment, where He will come down and He will do a couple of things. He will break the cross, number 1. He will kill the swine meaning the pig. And He will kill the biggest fitna to ever hit this world. Who is it? The Dajjal. So that's the purpose of raising Isa alayhi salam to the earth. And so we get from this that Isa alayhi salam is a noble messenger of Islam. A noble messenger that Allah protected from the evils of the people of Israel. And with that, we end. Jazakumullah khair.
Yeah.